Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages come forward. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. These readings are all under the umbrella of they're for the highest and greatest good. And thank you. For those who are on a journey to becoming more and more themselves. So, with that being said, let's get the outcome and advice. Thank you. All right. Turn these cards over. Look what we're working with here in the overall energy. We have the High Priestess reverse and the Seven of Cups in reverse. Okay, High Priestess reverse. A lack of intuition, a lack of as someone who utilizes a lot of intuition and perception greater than the five senses. For me, as I'm tuning into the High Priestess reverse, whoever's in this energy, it's kind of like they're flying blind. Like flying an airplane, literally, at night. And at night, airplanes have instrument. They fly by instruments, even during the day. Visual flight plan versus instrument. And it feels like this person doesn't have the instruments for navigation and guidance. So it's like they're flying blind. At night, it's limited. All right, and then the Seven of Cups in reverse is no options. This person, whoever this energy I'm tuning into, it feels like there's a lot of emotions, but there's nothing sounds interesting. No options are being perceived in this very flying blind kind of scenario. All right, tell me about the High Priestess reversed energy. Why is it here? World. I feel like you are the World card. You have left this energy. This is the World card's the last card of the major arcana. I think she has a nipple out, so I will cover. It feels like you are in this World card, expansive. You've left. It's the last card of the major arcana. Starts with the Fool card, ends with the World card, and repeats. And it feels like you've already left this person, left this cycle. So tell me about who's in this High Priestess energy. Who is it that the viewer left behind, has ended a cycle with? Not just like a cycle, a major arcana, it's a major cycle. So tell me about this person. Thank you. Ten of Pentacles reverse Devil card. This is someone very toxic, draining, codependent, trauma bonds. So this is someone who flies. They navigate their world through codependency, through manipulation, through traumas. So they're not, they don't have, it doesn't feel like an internal navigation system. They feel very destabilized, a loss of finances, a loss of stability, a loss of reality. It feels like, let's keep this metaphor of flying blindly, and they don't have their own system of direction, navigation, and it feels like it's externally built by manipulation, by trauma bonds. They create it's very external, outside of themselves. This person kind of feels a little empty after relating so long to being outside of self. All right. So why is the 7 of cups in reverse in the overall energy? What do we need to know? What does the viewer, whoever's here, drawn into this reading? All right. Star card coming out as a challenge to this energy. Whoever this is, I just heard they've hedged their bets. I'm not a gambling person. I get kind of the reference. It feels like they've hedged their bets. They've tried to fly by navigate their world through this devil energy, through manipulation, through trauma bonds, through codependency, addiction, obsessions. And they don't have options. They're challenged by the star card. This feels like your energy. They're challenged by your healing, by your authenticity, by you going towards your north node, your north star. Rising star. So your star, it feels like, is rising. And they feel, this is someone who definitely compares a lot. Compares to compete. And it feels like this person is comparing where they are right now and where you are. And they don't like the difference. Whoever this is, they're flying blindly. It feels like they've lost everything because it was largely because it feels like they've lost everything because it was externally based. They oriented outside of self, in a narrative, in control and manipulation of others. And it feels like you're navigating but differently now. And it seems like they don't have any options. They don't like where they're at. And they're challenged by your healing, your authenticity, your ability to move on, to leave them. Anything else about the 7 of Cups in reverse that would help? All right. Tower reversed, 5 of Wands reversed, 5 of Swords, King of Pentacles. They can't keep the false reality. They're trying to keep their false reality that they've created outside of themselves, the control, the manipulation. It's not an internal recognition of who they are. It feels like their identity is wrapped up in this outside control, in this false reality, false narrative. Their control, their manipulation. It feels like this person is not really inhibiting and anchored and grounded in and present Their identity is wrapped up in their story, in their manipulation, and they're doing everything they can to keep their false reality from collapsing. They don't have any options. It feels like they're kind of at the end of their tether. They're trying to keep this external reality afloat, and it feels like it's not making any sense anymore. I think you used to ground them, balance them, heal them chronically, and without your energy, you've left. They don't know how to maintain this false reality. They feel exhausted, depleted, but stuck. Five of Swords. It feels like this is someone who would make themselves feel better by taking someone down. There's a lot of comparison, right? So this person spends a lot of time comparing, competing with others, trying to figure out where they are in a hierarchy. And if they perceive someone is below them, then they can step on them. They can take advantage. They can manipulate. I get the feeling this person has run out of people to manipulate, and they're finding themselves at the bottom of the hierarchy. Very few, no one to bully. They've got all this five energy here. Five of Swords, Five of Wands reverse, change. But this person doesn't want change. They want to maintain this false reality that they've created that's external. King of Pentacles. Feels like they're trying to anchor their false reality and make it real. Trying to find stability through a narrative, a false narrative, and control and manipulation of others. This feels like someone who's very stubborn. Taurus energy here in the King of Pentacles. They're very, it's like, it's always worked before. Whatever they've been doing, whatever maybe even generationally in their family that they've been a part of, it's no longer working. And it feels like instead of letting the false reality collapse so they can come down to reality, they're, what I'm perceiving here is trying to make their false reality real, trying to stabilize it. All right, let's go into what's hidden. In what's hidden, we have the Knight of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands in reverse, and the Queen of Wands. With the Queen of Wands, just letting you know, I've got the doors. Come on, baby, light my fire. Came. We'll find out if that has any meaning. Come on, baby, light my fire. Mm-hmm. Fire. All right. Thank you, Jim Morrison. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. Why is the Knight of Pentacles? So the Knight of Pentacles for me is cultivating. He's the slowest knight of the deck, but he's the slowest because he's taking those pentacles, those seeds of opportunity, and he's planting them in the fields around him. So yeah, it takes him forever to get to his destination, but he's planting what he wants, cultivating the environment he wants along the way. like creating the red carpet of experiences and joy and stability along his journey. Ace of Wands in reverse is a lack of spark, lack of desire, impotence, no feeling of that joie de vivre, no excitement. Queen of Wands, come on baby, light my fire. Someone learning as they go, making mistakes. This is not someone who's making perfect actions, but when they make a misstep, she, the Queen of Wands, really understands how to learn from that mistake, where it came from, and then making better actions going forward, learning from what didn't work. This is also someone who doesn't care what others think about them. They like themselves. That's all that matters. Very charismatic. I can see why, come on baby, light my fire. And it feels like that might be something that you have, viewer. A spark, a light, authenticity. All right. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles. Yes, okay. I was wondering, you're not really in the overall energy much other than the World card. In what's hidden, this feels like a lot of this is your energy. You have been slowly cultivating those fields around you consciously with Magician of what you want. You're consciously bringing what you want into this world and planting the seeds and creating your world building. Very consciously planting those seeds. Love that. That's slow going, that Knight of Pentacles, but it's steady. Time's going to pass anyway. And so it feels like at some point, maybe you're at the point where that all those fields and all that you've cultivated is really starting to add up. This isn't about getting rich quick. This isn't about getting anywhere quick. This is about sustained, conscious creation and action, sustaining, building, nurturing, growing what you prefer. All right, why is the Ace of Wands in reverse here? That's interesting. Okay. I like taking the cards. How they land, where they land sometimes indicates some information. I feel like you've moved on to calmer grounds. Also, since this is all in what's hidden, it feels like you might be healing your nervous system. Finally able to relax, getting out of fight or flight. Chronic fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Being able to yawn, which means your nervous system doesn't have to constantly be in hypervigilance. You can start digesting and sleeping better, digesting your food, not being so amped and on guard. All right. This was clarifying the Ace of Wands in reverse. We've got Hierophant, Four of Cups, Ten of Cups. It's interesting. There's some type, it feels like a contract. Teaching. Okay, If this is your energy, Ace of Wands in reverse, it feels like through Hierophant, you are teaching by example. You've integrated a lot of your lessons. And it feels like what you're teaching others by your example, what you're sharing with others from what you've learned from your experience, being on this side of it, is letting go. Here's a ship, and then here on the shore are 4 spilt cups, and then the waters. And it feels like the Ace of Wands is you're explaining through example, showing through example, blessing others through your example of what not to chase, to not go after something after it's lost its spark, to not stay in an environment where you lose your spark, to choose to be happy anyway, despite what you have experienced. It feels like you're taking the wisdom from what you've gone through, and that is allowing you going forward to recognize what's not for you, what you're not interested in, and it feels like you're choosing to be happy. All right, the Queen. Any other way to interpret that? We'll just keep it at that. Why is the Queen of Wands in what's hidden? Oh, yeah, right. There was another packet of information. We'll get to this. Actually, let's keep that where it fell. That'll help inform me. Okay, so there's another packet explaining the Ace of Wands in reverse. These cards, so the only energy I perceive of yours in the overall energy was the World card. You've left this energy. And these cards, the Two of Cups and the Four of Pentacles reverse, came out as a challenge. That's the other definition. Okay, the Ace of Wands, I've already explained in reverse how that could be your energy in what's hidden. The Ace of Wands in reverse also explains this other person's energy. They're challenged by your independence. You've let go, Four of Pentacles release, World Guard. You've left the connection. It feels like this person doesn't have any spark, doesn't have any desire. Since you detached, Four of Pentacles reversed, it feels like you've learned from this experience moving forward what's for you, what's not. And it feels like once you've really detached from this relationship, this container, that they lose their spark. I don't think they were expecting that. It looks like they were running off a lot of your energy, your spark. And when you leave and you take your energy with you, so goes that spark. Now that's making sense. And you're the Queen of Wands. You've got this spark, charisma. I think you might have been in some type of enmeshed connection with this person, and they, over time, thought that your energy was theirs because you're giving up so much of it in the connection, in the relationship, in whatever this is. And so when you left, when you saw who this is correctly and went elsewhere, left, then You took your energy with you, took the spark, the fire, the passion, the excitement, and now they're out of balance, is what I'm getting. Seven of Wands in reverse, Three of Swords reverse, King of Cups reverse. This is someone who took advantage of an enmeshed connection when you were vulnerable. Looks like betrayal and someone who doesn't know how to regulate their emotions, someone immature, and I don't think they realized how much they needed you. Feels like at some point they thought that their energy was, they thought your energy was theirs. But when you left and took your energy over time, it feels like it to disconnect from this person, then they're left vulnerable, unbalanced. They don't know how to alchemize energies. They don't know how to process their emotions. It feels like you might have been the stabilizing force, because this person doesn't have like a point to orient within themselves. They live externally in a story, in the control, in the manipulation. And it feels like you might have been absorbing a lot of their karma, emotions, and processing that through you. Without doing that, you've been able to move on, and they're destabilized. All right, outcome and advice. Seven of Wands in reverse. Again, unprotected, vulnerable. So I get, okay, gotcha. Hanged Man and Six of Wands in reverse, coming out as a challenge to the Seven of Wands. Okay, the first message, this person, when you were vulnerable, they put you in hanged man position, took advantage of your vulnerability to keep you stuck, to really try to keep you stuck. There might have even been some type of public humiliation here to keep you stuck when you were vulnerable. And so it feels like this person now is vulnerable and is stuck and having some type of ego death or humiliation that feels out. People are seeing this, perceiving it. What's the viewer to Wheel of Fortune? This feels like your energy. In contrast, it feels like you're in a season of luck, and it's not just happening. It's not just magically happening. It's because of the actions that you've taken, consistent actions, planting the seeds of what you prefer, consciously manifesting, healing your nervous system, choosing to be happy, integrating what you've learned as you move on, not interested in anything or anyone who's in this way of orienting outside of self, control, manipulation. And it feels like you're learning as you go. Very charismatic. This isn't magical. It's because where preparation meets opportunity, consistency, choosing. Queen of Cups with her back turned. Yeah, and it feels like you've moved on, have turned your back, and you're caring for yourself. This feels like you now really see your value and worth and see it's worth protecting. And so you're not giving access to just anybody. Anything else? Last messages? Nine of Wands, Knight of Cups in reverse, Judgment. Coming out as a challenge. This feels like not your challenges. This other person's challenge because you've got healthy boundaries. Nine of what you're protecting yourself and what you're creating. And it feels like they can't get access to you. Knight of Cups in reverse. There's some false illusion, story, manipulation that this person has created. They expected you to fight and argue and try to convince them of their perception, because maybe that's what you did in the past, but they are externally focused and you are now internally grounded. You don't need to chase others. You know who you are. And when you ground in and align and know who you are, then this activity of others and what is not important. They're unable to create a false reality to trap you in. It feels like instead of taking action out of this space, you spend a lot of time trying to convince this person, trying to get them to see you, and that's part of how they keep you stuck, in action, enmeshed, unable to see where you end and they begin, and keeping you vulnerable purposefully. If you're constantly and chronically destabilized, then and in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, then literally your body's systems, the truth can't reach the top without safety. Clarity doesn't mean anything without safety and groundedness. Without safety and stability in your lower chakras, base chakra, clarity, that you can't act on it. It doesn't mean anything until you're safe or stable enough to be able to hold that truth and clarity. And it feels like you're no longer dealing in fictions and fantasies and future faking. You're just present, working with what is out of a story. And it looks like you have a calling, very expansive. Second time, world, judgment, very expansive energies, calling you to a bigger world stage, bigger space. And so there's no way you're going to go back after experiencing freedom, being grounded and aligned within yourself instead of your identity outside of yourself. So beautiful. All right. I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.